Less than a week now until I set off on my rivers and mountains trip. Am I ready? Keep watching to find out. Hi, I'm Roger. This is Roger Rides for AT. One of the things I've got for this trip, in fact today's the first time of trying to use it, is this neck mount for my action camera. Can't show you with the action camera attached because that's what I'm recording on. But some of the footage today, I'll see how it goes. Camera just goes around the neck, clips in. There is also a chest harness that looks a bit fiddly to put on. There's no quick release, but won't worry too much about that. So in readiness for this trip, I bought a new action camera, probably a couple of months ago now. Been experimenting with it, trying to get used to it and so on. The preparatory videos that I've put up on YouTube so far this year, or ahead of this trip, have been with that camera. As I mentioned, my latest addition is a neck mount, which is what I'm using at the moment. That actually arrived yesterday. This is the first time of using it this ride. Seems to bounce about a little, but I don't know. I'll see when I view the footage. I might find that the bouncing around is keeping it fairly level and taking out effectively my bounces. Don't know, we'll see how it all pans out anyway, especially with the stabilisation of the camera. Another area of preparation has been making sure the bike is ready for well, let's call it a 2,000 mile trip. It won't quite be that, but close enough. I'll be using the Ribble, the CGR titanium. It's what I've used on previous trips. Comfortable on long distances, good for load carrying as well, and the mix of roads, whether that's tarmac as I'm on now, or light off-road. Gravel tracks, bridleways. I don't go too extreme on this, especially on a long trip, but it gives me some flexibility. Bike preps, well, 3 weeks ago I think it was, I spotted some cracking on the wheel rim. Not what I wanted to see just before setting off on a big trip, but a big shout out to Hunt Wheels. They've sent me a replacement set, a slightly different model. Previous ones were 4-season, and these are the 4-season Pro. Supposedly a stronger aluminium, something in the manufacturing process. Don't know the ins and outs. Keep your fingers crossed. But so this is the first ride using those wheels. So far, they feel fine. Different hub from the previous 4 seasons. Would I notice? Probably not. Yeah. Looking at them, yeah, there's a difference visibly in terms of how they ride. Some people might tell a difference. I can't. New tyres. The old ones were pretty much due for replacement anyway. What I'm going for this time are the Gravel King SS Plus. So they're semi-slicks. I've gone for 35mm, allows me to drop the pressure a little, making for a more comfortable ride. I'm going tubed. I've not personally had a lot of success with tubeless. Sure, it helps out on some of the small punctures, but the number of times I've ended up having to put a tube in, which, if I'm on a trip, is a very messy process that I don't want to go through. And, well, let's see how it goes. Let's not make any comments and tempt fate. So as part of the new wheels, I've transferred the disc rotors over, but the cassette was probably getting close to someone who can't find a gear. The cassette was probably getting close to being due for replacement anyway, but I've decided to go up to an 11x34. Previously I had an 11x32. It's going to be hilly, so the extra 2 teeth, or if you look at it as the extra gear, might be welcome. Replace the disc pads, probably not really due at the moment. Oh yeah, but add another 2,000 miles on, might be a totally different story. Similarly, the chain, not due for it. Some signs of wear, but not quite at the change point. But again, 2,000 miles time, it would be a very different story. So I set out with a new chain. And the other bit I've done, a bit of a bike service generally, good clean and so on and so on. Very, very busy here in Turvey. A stupid way left parked here, all the way down to the corner. But at least we've got considerate drivers here. Quite often not the case on this road. They'll quite often just keep going regardless. So another area that I've been preparing for the trip has been the luggage side of it. Really only one change from previous trips, and that is this time, instead of using a seat pack, I've mounted a rack to the bike and I'll be putting a bag on the back. Slightly more capacity, more flexibility for loading, mainly because for this trip I want some better shoes for walking in. The off-bike footwear I normally take on a trip, it's fine for walking to the local co-op kind of thing, but if I'm going to be up in the Alps, chances are I'm going to want to have a good walk up there as well, if I'm up to it. So to give me a bit more flexibility, slight change of approach, and that gives me slightly more capacity as well. I'll still be mounting the bag inline, So still reasonably streamlined, apart from the bag that I have on the front, but no change on that one. I'll probably show more of the luggage setup sometime on the trip. So equipment wise, that's pretty much everything. Most of what I'll be doing is, let's call it tried and tested. It's what I've used before, maybe not tested if I've not needed to, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and I haven't broken it yet. I've ordered some custom shirts for the trip. That's just over 5 weeks since the order went in. They said 5 to 6 weeks. Keeping my fingers crossed I'll turn up in time. But it's only clothing. I've got other shirts I can wear. So it's not the end of the world if it doesn't turn up in time, but it is a bit of a pain having paid out the money. As I say, everything else is pretty much more of the same, or is the same. The big area, I suppose, of preparation is the route planning. I've had the high-level route mapped out for quite a while. Rough idea of breaking it up into daily sections, and therefore where I need to book accommodation. But actually getting the accommodation booked turned out to be quite an involved process, lengthy process. It's not just having an idea of where, it's then finding a place that has got secure bike storage overnight at the right price, and as I say, in the right location. It was only last weekend, so that's 2 weeks before the trip starts, that I got the last night of accommodation booked. But it's done. So another area of preparation is what some people would probably call training. I call it regular riding. The past few weeks on my daily commute I've been averaging about 50 miles a day. That is fractionally over half of what I'll be doing each day on this trip. Difference is I won't have an 8-hour working day in the middle. So putting in the regular miles should put me in an okay position. The daily mileage I've done before on previous trips. Admittedly, not for such a long duration, but I've done it before, I feel ready. So physically, I think I'm okay, fingers crossed. So did I say the route side of it was the last part of the planning? In a way it is, but I've still got fundraising to start to focus on. I have made a bit of a start, nowhere near as much as I would have liked, But if I don't have the accommodation booked and everything like that, what stage would the ride be at? So really that's more important. And now at less than a week out, I can really concentrate on the trip itself and its purpose, which is the fundraising. And obviously continue to do so during the trip. So just going back to the bike preparation, I have to say I'm pretty happy with the way it's running at the moment. Seems to be rolling smoothly, no creaks or groans, at least not from the bike. New wheels, tyres, seem alright. Chain seems smooth. Gear changes, I haven't touched those other than greasing the cables and obviously checking for wear. So that's all okay. So, positive stuff. Well, I hope that's given you an idea of the preparatory work for this trip. All that remains is for me to say thank you for watching this far. Hope you found it interesting. Please, please, please subscribe and keep up to date with my trip. As I've said in previous videos, I do intend to do a daily update during the ride, and may even squeeze in one more, I don't know, before I start. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.